Well, that was something. The Pittsburgh Penguins lose in overtime 4-3 in the first game of the Eastern Conference quarterfinals to the New York Islanders. Despite this being heartbreaking and just as irritating as the first time it happened against the Islanders, the Pittsburgh Penguins weren't as feeble as they looked in 2019. You know, although the disappointment in my voice would say otherwise, the Pens didn't play a terrible game, but they definitely didn't play a good game. Some notable names to mention in this game: Kyle Palmieri with 2 goals after not doing much in the regular season, of course, because who's gonna bite us in the ass this time? Ilya Sorokin comes in relief of Semyon Varlamov, and of course, he plays amazing. And on the other end of the ice, Tristan Jarry decided to have one of his worst games as a Pittsburgh Penguin, and probably the worst time to do it. So despite the game being 4-3 and a 1-goal game pretty much throughout the whole game, the scoreline was really close. Based off the way the Pittsburgh Penguins played in the second, third, and overtime frames, I'm surprised the Islanders didn't walk all over us. The Islanders had so many chances to bury the puck, with Beauvillier missing like 2 open nets, bunch of breakaways, and just a bunch of sloppy mistakes from the Penguins. You know, the Penguins kind of culminated their inner Tampa Bay Lightning. They showed up for 1 period and played very good hockey in that period. Unlucky to have given up a really bad goal from Tristan Jarry, but that first period is really good. I like the tempo the Penguins played. The way they were playing against the Islanders system was working. And then halfway through the second period, the pucks started going in, dump and chase, deflections into the offensive zone. Basically the worst way to play against the Islanders. The team just got lazy or seemingly didn't want to play the system that they had to be playing. I thought the Islanders did a really good job of creating offense. The Pajot line was a thorn the whole time. They were causing utter heartache for Marcus Pettersson and John Marino. You know, every time I look at Marcus Pettersson and John Marino, I think, oh, these guys look pretty solid on paper. And then they always, I don't know, they've just been disappointing, and I hope this doesn't continue on. But I think a lot of praise has to be given for the Penguins' first pairing. Dumoulin and Letang played a really good game, and there were no major faults in either of their games. No, I think for Letang, he had a really good game, probably one of his best playoff games. He had a lot of ice time, and he was honestly solid. He created offense. He was really good defensively, breaking up a lot of offensive chances. It's just a shame the other defensive pairings weren't as solid, but I think everyone knows the spotlight is on Tristan Jarry. He's got to play better. He had a bunch of huge saves, but the goals he was letting in were just so bad. You know, I think I could see his confidence wavering a little bit. His puck handling skills were not that good tonight. Specifically earlier on in the game, he had a really bad fumble. His positioning wasn't solid, but it shouldn't be that bad to the point where you're letting in 3 goals from point-blank shots from far out. Credit to Pajot for sniping that shot early in the third, but man, that was a bad goal. If you look at the way Jarry was playing in that game, you know, it really reminded me of Matt Murray, and that is probably the scariest part of this whole thing. Overall, I don't really have a lot to say on this game. I've let this sit with me for a little bit. I thought the Islanders and Penguins are very, very close matched, and you know, we should have expected this. The Islanders always turn it up come playoff time, but it always seems like they find an extra gear, and the Penguins are going to really need to dig deep, and they're going to need to play smarter. We know what this team is capable of, and we know what the Islanders are capable of, and we know that the Penguins can definitely beat these guys. It's going to take a lot more spirit. The Islanders are a hungry team, and they don't just break that easily, whereas it looked like the Penguins definitely broke midway through the game. So the special teams were not great. I thought that both teams' power play was actually really bad, but the Penguins have to score on the power play. The first power play, 2 minutes, the whole time in the zone, they have to score. There's no excuse. The power play has to do something if they're going to win the series, and the fact that they got 3 chances and didn't score on a single one tells you a bigger picture of this game. Blame Jarry all you want. At the end of the day, the Islanders are not a goal-scoring team. They should be going into this series expecting that they're not going to score. But when you let them score 4 goals, you're probably going to lose the game. Let's be honest. If the Islanders get more than 2 goals in the game, they're probably going to win that game in the playoffs. But at the end of the day, this is still game 1, and there's a lot more hockey left to be played, hopefully. Very disappointed with this game. I didn't really like the way the Penguins played at all. The goals they got were good, but it's not as satisfying when the team doesn't play that well. If they're going to win the series, they got to find their legs. For sure, they got to find their legs, and they got to play smarter. Maybe Gino being in the lineup after being not available for this game maybe that'll make a difference. But, I mean, I don't know. A bit all over the place with this one. Nothing really else other than hope the next game goes better. Penguins got to turn it up another one here. I think that's all for me today. I'll catch you back after the second game, and I'll give my roundup for that one. Thanks for tuning in.